Today we delve into Dear Mama, and I think we are into 26th entry if I'm not wrong. So welcome, this is Teacher Prissy for you, and we are really trying as much as we can. So the entry was written on 31st May 2020. KOMBANI writes, Dear Mama, today is Sunday and I'm preparing for the coming week. I usually cook my meals on Sundays and store them in the fridge to last through the week. This way, I avoid the hassle of going out in the sun to shop while wearing a mask. The situation is still bleak. The prospect of getting approvals for the family to travel have diminished, and we have now settled for communicating via video calls. I still wake up in the morning and opening the window to look at the fresh air. In the evening, as I shut them, I pretend to be one of the children. It is a lonely, lonely place. The bank has initiated a program to help us handle the mental health challenges brought about by the pandemic. As a team, we meet virtually every Friday to discuss matters unrelated to work. But it is hard to hide behind the soft jokes and laughs, as much as we try to make light of the situation. What keeps me going are my calls with Jason, which we have almost daily. We talk about everything. The situation back home, the writing scene in Kenya, Singapore, everything. Hari Raya Pausa celebrations that mark the end of the fasting month of Ramadan were marked virtually due to restrictions. Despite Paul's protests, I have found myself working late hours, or even on weekends, because there is nothing else to do. So I decided to resume writing. Because I wanted some sort of accountability, I wrote on my social media pages. Tomorrow I resume my writing journey. 1,000 words per day. So help me God. I have not written any creative fiction for more than a year. I am thinking of having an accountability group with other people who are also up for such a writing project. Each person posting daily their word count achievement. If you are up to it, inbox me your number. I want to keep it a small group, so I'll cap it at 20 people. In a few minutes, I had more than 40 people interested, so I quickly formed a group. Tomorrow, I start writing. What would I write about? I did not know. But I had to believe in myself, just like Shibi believed in me. The success of the dance drama inspired Shibi, who had his sights set on bigger things we could achieve. Interestingly, he did not bear ill will toward the people who had moved for or supported the motion of no confidence against him. If anything, it seems that lifting the burden of leadership from him enabled him to do what he loved most, creating. He had wild ideas. He teamed up with another friend and started producing Friday night shows for a nearby 5-star hotel. These things only need for you to believe in yourself, man. Kujiamini. Yes, but here we are. We can't even afford our own meals. One afternoon, Shibi was at the university's creative arts department when a call came in on the unmanned office telephone. On the other end of the line was someone from Born Free Foundation. They were raising awareness about bushmeat trade and were looking to partner with theater groups to write and produce a play that would be performed across the country. Of course we can do that, Shibi responded and proceeded to give them my email address. That was Shibi. He never said no. He would say yes and start thinking about how to make it happen. The foundation wanted us to send them some place that, if they liked, would serve as a basis for our contract with them. When I received the brief, I assigned 2 group members with more experience in playwriting to write the plays. Write 1, 2, so that they can have 3 plays to choose from, Shibi told me. I resisted. The fact that we succeeded in the dance drama doesn't mean I can do full-length plays. That was a fluke. Well, I found myself writing a play myself, but under duress. One of the playwrights was bereaved and had to travel up country for the funeral plans, so he could not write. That left us with only 1 play to show, Born Free. Unless they liked it very much, they would not give us the contract. Once again, I went to the war memorial graves and wrote about a man named Molkacha, who surprisingly makes a living catching moles. He traps a gazelle, which ends up poisoning his family and friends. I added many wisecracks and references to the national discourse at the time. President Kibaki had just inaugurated a Pamoja Tuangamize Ufasidi campaign against corruption. I reused the same phrase as Pamoja Tuangamize Mapocha to fit the theme. I named my play Carcasses. I had the work typed and submitted both plays, although I thought the other play would surely be better structured since it was executed by someone who knew what they were doing. A few days later, Born Free called with the news. We have gone through both plays, and we feel like Carcasses is best suited for our needs. Shibi slapped me on the back rather painfully. I told you, you are the god. He had started calling me Goat, a phrase popularized by musician LL Cool J's album, Greatest of All Time. I was still coming to terms with the news. Thanks to our deal with Born Free, for the first time ever, we had a production where actors received rehearsal allowances. Morale was high and absenteeism low, and the play was ready for its premiere in 2 weeks. Born Free leaders came to watch it a few weeks later, and I made a point to invite senior university administrators. Professor Emmanuel Mbogo, the literature department's newest lecturer, was also part of the audience. He was a Tanzanian professor known for Watoto wa Mama Ntilie, a popular book in Tanzania. He had just been appointed chairman of the Culture Week Festival, replacing the long-standing Wasambo Were, who was credited with establishing the National School Drama Festivals. Professor Mbogo was a keen supporter of the arts and had also attended our rehearsals since the day I briefed him about what we were doing. The premiere was a huge success. Over the next few months, we performed the play nationwide, starting with the public show at the National Museum and culminating in the beachfront performance for members of parliament. The play was well received. Between productions of Carcasses and other court plays, along my studies, my 4th year flew by in a flash. Before I knew it, graduation time had arrived. My graduation was on 15th December 2004. It was the big thing in the family, bigger than I had imagined it would be. TA came with a large crew from Narok. Family members came from as far as Njoro, Elbagon, and Kiptangwanyi. The family finally had a graduate. I wish you were there to see it all, Mother. We held a graduation party at Ngando's Pathway Hotel. Activities came to a standstill as women received me ululating and singing, Ungiona njuki tengu kumundenya uyu ni munene. It was a great day indeed. I was smartly dressed in a suit, giving credence to the songs of praise. Mwana keta uyu, wamonireka, muda kata uyu, wamonireko. ngai ni mwega, watu mwatu mwone. Miss Mbugua ably represented you. She made a touching speech, reminding me never to think I do not have a mother, that she would always be there for me. I also insisted that Mr. Mbugua speak as my father. Everyone knew that if it was not for this family, I would not have made it this far in my academic journey. Now, we were now celebrating my second upper division degree with honors. You a loving son, Kombani. So guys, we've read that. The quick synopsis for this part of the text is that Kombani briefs us that now with the situation in Singapore, he prepares all the meals on Sunday and keeps them in the fridge so that during the week he doesn't go shopping. He is uncomfortable with the mask in the sun, possibly. The other thing we learn from here is that the expectation of the family arriving soon is fading because now the family has just chosen to have video calls. Of course, the author tells us that he is very lonely here, and he says that the team is having virtual meetings every Friday. We go on with the Kombani informing us about continuous calls with JSO. Of course, you remember JSO. He also tells us about, his working moment. He's trying to revive writing, and he's doing it in a group of I don't know whether he formed 40, because at first he wanted 20, but 40 came. Kombani takes us to a flashback again, telling us about a situation of Shibi having inspired him to write. He tells us that Shibi was not even annoyed after vote of no confidence or motion of no confidence. They were contracted to write more plays. Now, of course, he reminds us that Shibi was the inspiration behind his writing. He actually says that after being contacted by a group which wanted them to write plays, it is Shibi who pressed him to write some. And of course, they were writing about the situation of saving wildlife, a group known as Born Free Foundation. So he goes to research in memorial war graves and comes up with a play with a character known as Molkacha, catching moles, trapping a gazelle. Then the gazelle is eaten by the family, but it poisons it. Now, of course, he uses the title Pamoja Tuangamize Mapocha, the phrase, but at the same time, the whole book is known as Carcasses. Now, the book manages to win because even the other two never managed to present their book. So, Kut also performed it under the management of Emmanuel Mbogo, professor, after Wasambo Were went to focus on music, drama festival. He also tells us about his graduation in 2004, and he says a lot of family members and friends came to attend, and they sang very well as he graduated with his second class upper division. Let's quickly talk about the thematic concerns. Of course, the first, the character traits, beginning with Kombani as a loving son of the mother. We see the evidence here. You are loving son, Kombani. When we come to the other part, of course, we see is devoted to writing. We can see that during Corona, even though Paul is protesting, he could write 1,000 words per day. He also created a group of 20 people, even though they came 40, so that they compete in this part. We also see that during the time he was in the university, he was able to write a play against poaching, known as Carcasses, and he devoted to it until it won. We can see he is sociable. During his graduation, the entire family comes and celebrate him, and he's so happy about it. We also realize that he is concerned and dedicated to his family. Looking at page 94, he tells us that he could prepare meals on Sundays and then put them in a fridge to avoid hustling and going to the shop wearing a mask. He also reminds us through sociable aspect that he could communicate with Jaiso and talk daily about everything. Singapore, Kenya, writing, you know. So that is to prove about concern. Now let's talk about being informed and observant. You see, Kombani realizes that Hari Raya Pausa celebrations in Singapore were not conducted on physically, they were virtual. He also observes earlier, when he's in the university, about how focused Shibi is, and also he's creative. He's able to use aspects of war memorial graves and integrate with others to come up with a very interesting play known as Carcasses. The play pleases a lot of people and Bonfrey chooses it, and it becomes a morale enhancer for him in writing. I think those are the character traits for Kombani so far. We can get to thematic concern, and the first will be education. Remember, Kombani was in the university for the second part of this episode, while he was writing the book, the play Carcasses. He tells us there was Professor Emmanuel Mbogo at the literature department, and he was picked as the chairperson of Cultural Week Festival, while Wasambo Were was accredited to take care of national school drama festivals. He also tells us how his time flew through fourth year, and he was able to graduate with a second class upper division. We see gratification. Up to that moment, Kombani is so happy that he's able to write another play, Carcasses, and it makes through. He is also gratified after graduation, saying that the family now had a graduate at least. We see the aspect of family coexistence. During the graduation of Kombani, we see a lot of family members attending, including families from Joro, Elbagon, Kiptra, Kwanyi, and all that. The Mbugwas also. Mbugwa represents him as a father, while Miss Mbugwa as a mother. We actually see creativity. The writing of Carcasses is a creative aspect. And as Shibi tells him, he is a Goat, that is greatest of all time. He makes a play, he writes a play that wins big time. We also realize creativity coming through the aspect of Kombani while in Singapore, deciding to be writing 1,000 words per day and forming a group that will be writing just like him. We see change. Previously, Hari Raya Pausa celebrations were physical, now they are virtual. We also realize loneliness or solitude. Kombani tells us the place was very lonely, and he could actually stand by the window and pretend to be the one of his children. Unless otherwise, we can move to the last bit, colleagues and students, and that is stylistic devices. You know very well that the first style is epistolary mode, Dear Mama, and at the end we have Your Loving Son, Kombani. Then we have use of songs. I think you've heard me sing through presentation. So we have the song sung during the graduation for Kombani. Yeah, and you can see it right there. We also have irony. It's ironical that we realize that Kombani was not actually very focused in writing the book, but yet Shibi inspires him and he makes it to write a winning book. They were supposed to present 3 plays. However, the rest fail and it is just his that wins. We can see direct address on page 96. Shibi says, of course we can do that. He also says, write 1, 2 so that they can have 3 plays to choose from. That part I think is dialogue. Top is direct address, below is dialogue. Write 1, 2 so they can have 3 plays to choose from, Shibi told me. I resisted. The fact that we succeeded in the dance drama does not mean I can do full-length plays. That was a fluke. We see, I think this is in texts, integrations, social media pages. You know, Kombani writes on social media pages. Tomorrow I resume my writing journey, 1,000 words per day. So help me God. I have not written any creative fiction for more than a year. I am thinking of having an accountability group with other people who are also up for such a writing project, each person posting daily their word count achievement. If you are up to it, inbox me your number. I want to keep it a small group, so I'll cap it at 20. What else did I see? I think there is some sort of local dialect. The song is in Kikuyu language. Ungiona njukite nguku muthenya uyu munene. Mwanake ta uyu wamwonire ku mothaka ta uyu wamwonere ko Ngai ni mwega watuma tumwone. So all that is local dialect. Then I thought I saw some imagery, but I'm not actually able to trace it. So guys, let's end here and we'll meet again in another lesson. Otherwise, have a nice time and I wish you well.